what's something you avoid? Maybe it's public speaking, maybe it's going to the gym, going on a date, maybe it's making a phone call, maybe it's even just texting someone back. Your brain tells you avoid it, it'll feel better. And the crazy thing is, it works for a moment. But every time you avoid something that scares you, your brain learns one powerful lesson. That thing must actually be dangerous. And slowly your world gets smaller. Psychologists have known for decades that the most effective way to beat fear isn't avoiding it, it is exposure therapy. And you might know exposure therapy from maybe a friend that's used it in therapy or because of a phobia or something like that. But actually, I think it is a life philosophy. So this doesn't just apply to phobias. It works for starting a business, dating, networking, trying new things, public speaking, career risks, maybe something you're feeling anxious about. Avoidance shrinks your life, exposure expands it. Welcome to the channel, all about self-improvement, growth, mindset, productivity. So please like and subscribe if you enjoy, and let's get right into it. So first, what exposure therapy actually is. Exposure therapy is one of the most effective treatments for anxiety disorders. The principle is simple. Repeated, controlled exposures to the thing you fear teaches your brain that it's safe. And your brain is basically like a prediction machine. And this comes from evolution, right? If it predicts danger, it sends anxiety. And that leads to action. Exposure therapy retrains that false prediction. So an example is afraid of flying, gradually take flights. Social anxiety, practice conversations. Fear of gyms, start by just entering one. Over the time, your brain updates the belief, like, oh, we didn't die, the world didn't, like, fall upside down, everything was fine. And even though it is hard and overwhelming, it is so useful. So the problem with avoidance, let's talk about that. Fear leads to avoid, leads to temporary relief, and that leads to a stronger fear. You just continue to, like, I don't know, like the opposite of romanticize, I can't think of the word right now, but basically you make that fear bigger and bigger and embellish it until it gets so big that you just don't even know how to tackle it anymore. So an example is you're nervous about giving presentations, so you skip speaking opportunities, you feel relief, but your brain learns public speaking must be dangerous. And next time the fear is even bigger. Not to mention that because you avoided it, you probably are not improving at the same rate as maybe somebody who is trying to do their speaking opportunities, which just further exacerbates the issue. Avoidance feels good short term, but makes anxiety worse long term. So now let's talk about the fear ladder, okay? So how to actually do exposure therapy and structure it for yourself. So first, pick your fear, okay? Maybe you have a lot of fears. I certainly do. Pick one, though, and create a fear ladder. So list the scary thing at the top, like maybe public speaking, then break it into levels. So level 1 is speak in front of a mirror. Level 2, record yourself talking. Level 3, talk in front of a friend. Level 4, a small group presentation or conversation. Level 5, the presentation. And I do want to raise awareness that I feel like public speaking is a very, that's like a trope that's pretty, like I feel like that comes up in TV shows and stuff like that. So I want to raise awareness, like there are niche fears, okay? So obviously choose the thing that is actually bothering you, no matter how crazy it feels. It doesn't matter. Make it personal and customized to you, obviously. But anyway, the overarching theme here is that it's okay to start small. The goal is manageable discomfort, not panic, obviously. And then you repeat until the fear drops. Your brain will learn that through repetition. So, some real life examples of phone call anxiety. Maybe write a script. Maybe it's something, maybe not about a phone call even, but maybe it's like a difficult conversation. Maybe it's something that you need to talk about with your boss or with a coworker. Maybe it is gym anxiety. Walk into the gym, literally use one machine, then get out. That is totally fine. Then next time, stay for a little longer. Social anxiety, smile at strangers, ask a cashier a question, short conversation, and that may lead to a social event. So the key idea here is that confidence comes from exposure, not thinking, and certainly not overthinking, which unfortunately I am very prone to. I'm sure many of us are. The important rule is don't escape early. Because if you run away while your anxiety is high, your brain learns escaping saved me. Instead, stay until anxiety naturally drops off. Your brain then learns this situation isn't actually dangerous. And if your anxiety stays, you know what? Just lean into it, accept the discomfort, and do not resist it. That has always helped me. So, in terms of why this works, so let's actually get into the neuroscience for a second. Fear is controlled by the amygdala. Please don't come at me for my pronunciation there. Exposure therapy activates extinction learning. Your brain forms a new memory. Previous scary thing is now safe. Over time, this fear signal will weaken and weaken and weaken. So your fear feels like walls, but most of the time, they're just doors you haven't walked through yet. Or maybe a door that you did walk through and it just kind of went like it was faulty the first time. But if you would walk through it again, it would have been fine. You just have this false memory and this false belief. So the more fears you expose yourself to, the more evidence your brain collects that you can handle life. And eventually, something strange happens. Things that once terrified you become completely normal.